Or do I give myself a minute to get her going? So we are backstage right now. We will be starting live on River West Radio in about 10 seconds. Welcome to Ability MKE Now. My name is Sue Roscoff. Here at Ability MKE Now, we are a show all about integration, bringing people with disabilities and people that don't have a disability together, enjoying life here in the Milwaukee area. Welcome to Ability all have different abilities, and we all have different abilities, and the concept of disability hits a wide range of possibilities. We could be talking about physical or mental disabilities, the deaf and hard of hearing community, blindness, chronic pain, mental health diagnosis, goals of substance use reduction, and the list goes on. We all have our own experience with disability, whether it's our own, with people we know, or with people we encounter in our daily lives. Here at Ability MKE Now, we break down the barriers and celebrate the ability in all of us. So looking forward to a fun time here tonight. We've got quite the crew joining us, and our special guest is a dear friend that I am very, very excited to share. But first, I am going to go ahead and bring in the lovely Denise Vargas to go ahead and say hello to everyone. How you doing, Denise?
I am fabulous. Hello, Milwaukee, and everyone around the world listening to us. This is going to be a fun show. I'm super excited about our guests. And yeah, you know what? Enough about me. Let's get the show on the road.
Excellent. Thanks so much for being here, Diva. And you guys all know Alan Holmes. He is another great friend of this show. I'm going to bring him in next to say hello. How you doing, Alan?
Okay, it's like,
Oh,
I
there you go.
gotta stop muting myself. Well, good evening, Milwaukee, and around the world. As Beaver said, Alan Holmes, Mass Connector, honored to be here. I know we have a super guest, so I'm gonna stop talking now because as a veteran, we are so humbled to just be part of this incredible show. Back to you, Susie.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here. I have the honor of bringing in the founder and president of Project Die Hard, Brian Gibson. He is joining us today from a little ways away. He is not a Milwaukee native here, but he is from not too far away originally. He actually comes from originally born in Traverse City, Michigan. He was born into a Navy career family and raised all over the United States. He had joined the Army where he served for 26 years as a combat medic and retired in 2016 and now is calling his home to be Kentucky. So we are so glad to have Brian joining us here today. He's got a pretty amazing story, and I'm actually very proud to be able to say I am an ambassador with Project Die Hard. This is an amazing organization that has the heart of so many. You'll know more as you hear more here, but Brian, I'm going to go ahead and bring you in, say hi, and give us a little more background scoop on who is this guy that I'm bragging on. How you doing tonight, Brian?
I'm doing really good, Sue. Yeah, I'm so honored to be here with Alan and Diva. I've known these guys for a couple of years, been following them. They do great work. I'm just so impressed with the work they do. Uh, me, I'm just a sinner saved by grace. Yes, I was born into a Navy family in Traverse City, Michigan, because my father was stationed at the Great Lakes, and not just the United States, so the world I was raised around. Okay. And then my father's last duty station was in Seattle, up in Bremerton at the Ghost Fleet. So that's where I graduated high school and where I joined the Army. I went to basic training at Fort Jackson, South Carolina, and I went to my advanced training at Fort Sam Houston, Texas, home of the Medical Corps in the United States Army. Actually, we train all the medical corps there at Fort Sam. We have Navy, Air Force, Marines. They take theirs from the Navy, so but we train them all there. Yes, I did serve for over 26 years. Uh, I've been stationed in Germany, loved it. Uh, South Korea, not so much. Uh, and again, multiple places, because if you do the math, we've been engaged in a few places over the past 20 years. Okay. I was a combat medic. Uh, I've seen the worst thing that man can do to man. I self-medicated with alcohol until the point where I had a 45 in my mouth, ready to end it. And then God saved my life. How, people ask? A phone call from a veteran inviting me down to a church outing. That's where the pastor there actually saw something was wrong with me and he took the time to listen. And that was 2015. I retired out in 2017. But right before I retired out, I got the phone call from the wife of one of my best brothers, my best friend. We did 3 tours together in not so nice places. She called me and she went, Doc, 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 what do I do? What do I do? In a panic. And I went, take a breath. You got to tell me what's going on. And she goes, Eric's hanging in the garage. I had a really tough time accepting that. I went back to my father. And, you saved a wretch like me. Me, you saved. For what reason did you save me? And one thing led to another, and the next thing you know, uh, I founded Project Die Hard. That's me in a nutshell.
It's an amazing nutshell. It's your story is one I've heard before, and every time I hear it, it's like it's grabbing. It is something where there's so much there, and the reason Project Die Hard exists is because of this prevalence in America here with our veterans, that suicide is ridiculous with how many of our veterans are losing their life to suicide. You're the one that
Uh,
shared the statistic with me. You want to
well, I'll
educate us
share it
all?
again. I have no problem sharing that statistic. According to the last census, 2020, 6.4% of America's population is made up of veterans. But, pay attention, folks. Veterans make up 57% of every suicide in the nation.
Let that one sink in. 57%. So more than half of all suicides taking place in America are veterans. when veterans only make up a little more than 6% of our entire population. So yeah, way out of whack. This is a number that is unacceptable. I mean, any suicide is one too
Yeah,
many.
agreed. Any suicide is bad. I'm in a total agreement with that. Every suicide is bad, but I have to concentrate on my brothers and sisters. Okay. Um, I do. And that's what I concentrate on because I know what they need. Uh, I there's been other organizations, suicide prevention, and they do great things, but they handle young adults. They handle divorcees. They handle, right? I'm the one that's diving into the veteran numbers.
So with Project Die Hard, tell us a little bit more about what specifically is Project Die Hard, and if you want to share a little bit too about the location in Makanda, Illinois.
Okay, Project Die Hard is a faith-based, scripture-led veteran nonprofit. Okay, we are a true nonprofit organization because we don't waste money on advertising and frivolous things. Project Die Hard was started in 2018 with the goal to place a facility right here where I live. And we did everything on the up and up, got our nonprofit status. Uh, and then 2020 hit. We all know what happened in 2020. Okay. We don't need to beat that dead horse. But during that time, the Veterans of Foreign Wars magazine reached out to me because they heard what I was doing, and they featured me in the magazine under their Still Serving campaign, which led to WSIL TV out of Marion, Illinois, to call and say, "Hey, we heard about you. Are you willing to tell us about your story and your mission?" I said, "Of course, I'll go anywhere and talk." That led to a Christian daycare organization reaching out and saying, "We saw 7 seconds of your story. Would you mind coming up and telling us your story and what you're doing?" And I went, "Okay." Got the date and the time. They gave me the address, and that's when I went to my wife and said, "Hey, where's Makanda, Illinois?" I didn't know Illinois had a wine country,
Ooh, I didn't
but it
either.
does. So I go up there and meet them, and they take me through 20 acres and a 10,000 square foot building that used to be a daycare. Yeah, it had all the little toilets in it, all the little sinks, all the little stuff on the walls. Uh, they said, "We have been praying for 10 years," because that's how long the daycare was shut down, "on what to do with this property." And they said, "Could you use this for your mission?" I went, of course we can. But there's no way we can afford this. I mean, there's no way we can afford this. We barely scrape by doing our fellowship breakfast, right? I mean, and they go, "Good, we're donating it to you."
So huge. Pivotal.
Pivotal. Well, fast forward here, November 2023, we opened the facility to in-person events. So I'm putting the call out. If you have a ministry or a nonprofit organization that needs a venue in Southern Illinois to host an event for veterans, reach out. Teamwork makes the dream work. If we all work together, everybody will prosper. But when that facility is completed, it will provide skill training, counseling, therapies, transitional housing for 12 single veterans and 2 veterans with their families for up to a year. Our goal is to place a facility in every state. As I like to say, they are going to be beacons of hope for veterans.
I absolutely love where this is all going, and that we are at a very big point in time right now with where things are going. There's a lot of pieces in motion, lots of things moving forward rather quickly, and still a long ways to go. But it is a really, really magical time right now with pieces coming together. But I would like to bring Diva and Alan in here to this conversation. Diva, I'll pass it over to you first.
Well, you know, Brian, I absolutely love your story, love your mission, love you. What I loved most of all is when you said, "Why did you spare me?" You know, it's because God has his reasons. We don't necessarily know them, right? At that time, but to know that he spared you to do this beautiful work that you're doing, to help so many others who need the help, who would maybe they don't have someone like you did who hears them, right? We all need that person. And that is why you're still here with us. And I'm so proud to know you and so happy and so blessed. Continue rocking on, my brother.
Thank you.
Excellent. And Alan, I want to give you a chance here as well. Do you want to come on in? Do you have any comments or questions at this point?
Well, first of all, thank you, Diva, for those kind words, and thanks for putting me second because I get a little emotion here. Brian, woo, I love you, brother. You know, as a 13 Bravo, I know that as a Chili Crewman, the combat medics were always there, and what you've gone through and what you've done and what you continue to do, it is deeply an honor to one veteran to another. I applaud you, and I too love you, my brother, and I really appreciate that the Ability Now and the Liberal Rest Radio and everyone here allowing you to hear your story. And I too have heard it a couple of times, but not in this deep depth. So I applaud you, and I definitely want to go ahead and right here on August 21st, 2024, make a commitment like we did to serve, to honor and protect against all enemies in foreign and domestic. That is what the enemy of the suicide prevention, lowering that number. And please make sure that get that flyer out. So when I'm having my conversations, I want to make sure that I say it with respect and honor and to get the right so we can get those in every state. It is an honor and a privilege again to know you and respect and honor what Project Die Hard has done and continues to do and change the world. Back to you, Sue. Thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of here.
Awesome. And we appreciate you so much, Alan. All the connecting that you do and the service that you've given as well. You are appreciated more than you know. Gosh, there are so many pieces to all of what's going on with Project Die Hard. I wonder, Brian, if you could share. So the location in Illinois is named for a certain reason. Can you talk a little bit about how it is named and
It is
yeah.
named in honor of Sergeant Courtney Rush of the United States Air Force. She lost her fight to the demon of suicide. She never saw combat. She was a crew chief on an aircraft. Her demon was doing the angel flights. Those are the flights that bring our fallen home. People have seen the pictures on the internet of the big plane with the caskets covered with the flags. That's what she did. Repeatedly. That was her demon. And that's how every facility is going to be named, because they're heroes too. And the war continues here at home. I got to stress that to the people. Just because we leave war doesn't mean it leaves us.
Not at all. I mean, I had the privilege of serving as an EMT locally here for 10 years. And that was just on a very part-time basis. You know, the whole idea of volunteer fire department. And the number of things that I saw in that amount of time doesn't even have a freckle of comparison to all the things that you've seen as a combat medic. But I'm telling you, there's days, there's pieces of what I saw that stick with me. Once you see, you can't unsee things, right? So
Mhm.
that stuff sticks with you. And to be able to have and it hits every person differently, right? We all have different backgrounds. We all have different experiences because, two people can see the same thing and one person will have a different response than another just because of who they are, that we are all different. But that's why, like I hear you say so often, teamwork makes the dream work, because we all also bring different pieces to the table. We bring different experiences, and your experience and your background is what a lot of our vets need, to have somebody that can relate to them, that they can talk to, that and we need more Brians out there that can be making a difference. Because, and I know you're the humble man behind it all, and I appreciate that so much, but you do make a massive difference. And I'm
Well,
often asking myself,
okay.
go
So
ahead.
Die Hard wouldn't be where it's at right now if it wasn't for you. Because yes, you handle the education aspects. You talk with colleges on behalf of Project Die Hard. I, I can't do that. I really can't. That's not my forte.
The whole idea, and that's where we are growing the team. We are actually looking for people who have an interest in what's going on that we're talking about here. And this is why I love being able to share out what the mission of Project Die Hard is. And there are people out there that are going to listen to this and say, "Whoa." First of all, thrilled to hear this exists, because obviously it's needed. And maybe I need to pay attention to what what is all going on around me, because we all know vets. We all what honestly, there are people that I've learned well after the fact of, oh, you actually served in the military. I did not know that. This is an excuse to have
Well,
conversations.
as I tell people when I'm giving this presentation to organizations and stuff, you've seen the guys walking around, the girls walking around with the veteran hat and veteran shirt, right? When you ask them, hey, how's your day going? That's a loaded question, because you might be that voice they needed to hear at that moment in time. So don't be afraid to say it, but be ready when they say, well, you got time to sit down and talk?
You might be, as the person asking the question, you might have been that person they really needed at that moment.
Yeah.
We
Again,
all have days like that, right? But again, Yeah, I think back actually last Christmas time. I remember through the holidays and leading up through the holidays, one thing that I heard from you over and over, and I appreciate this, the whole concept of check your vet, talk to the veterans that you know, check in on them. How are they doing? And
Well,
that
yes, that is our annual program. We started around Thanksgiving. We punch it all the way up through New Year. It's check your vet because every year we get a spike in that veteran suicide number in the holidays. Well, it's a spike. So we got to amp it up during that time to say, hey, check your vet. Check your vet. You don't got to wait till the holidays to do it, though. Check your vet. Reach out. Y'all know one. Say, hey, what's going on? Everything all right? Don't be afraid to ask the hard questions. I have phone calls where I'll literally ask the veteran, are you going to hurt yourself? Are you going to hurt anybody else?
those are hard questions, but somebody needs to have those conversations.
You got to ask because asking might snap them out of it.
For them to have it asked of them and they actually have to have a different thought process of answering that
Mhm.
is huge. That can make a difference. Don't be afraid to have conversations.
No, never be afraid to have conversations. In fact, that's what our fellowship breakfast is for that we do every month. It brings veterans together to fellowship, get mutual support, and a free meal. Now, we invite everybody to come break bread with heroes. Last year, 356 veterans got a free meal. Uh,
Huge.
last month, 24 veterans. That is our record for the year so far this year. 24 veterans.
I would love to see that being something that happens all across the country, and ti- time
It
will
will.
tell. We need to do that. Actually, Diva, I'm gonna go ahead and bring you back in here.
Yes. So Brian, question that I have. Let's say that we are speaking to someone and we can see that they really need help. Where would you suggest that we can lead them to if we are not experienced to do that, obviously?
Uh, best if it's an immediate thing, look, dial 911. Okay. Tell them I am talking to a veteran here that may be suicidal. They'll know all the pieces of the thing. Now, if they're not desperate, 988, press 1. That takes directly to the veteran crisis line. If you sit there and say, here, talk to these guys, they know, right? Again, reach out. Just last week, we had a veteran reach out to us that we couldn't help, but one of our sister charities, the need was put out and we got the veteran help.
I love what you are all doing, and we love Project Die Hard. We are so grateful to have been able to share, and more information can be found at projectdiehard.org. That again is projectdiehard.org. Alan, Diva, as always, we thank you, and Brian, so thrilled. And as always, we thank you.